Hello, and welcome back to another video. I'm ZpprSprk, and you're watching my FTB Continuum Let's Play series. Between episodes, I did a bit of work. I don't know, you can't really see, well, I mean, you can see what I've done, just maybe not recognize it because it's so small behind me. But I did a bit with the AE2 system, and this pump jack has not been needed over here for a while, and I think the chunk is dry anyways, so we really don't need it here. And in fact, I even took the power cables that were strung over here back, so might as well tear this down. But yeah, so let me tear this down and I will show you what changes I've done over there. So be back in a second. Okay, so what I've done is I did rearrange this a bit, and you can see I've got the interfaces all side by side rather than kind of around the side from each other. They're going down into the hole there. The crafter's not up there anymore. It's actually down in the hole with a couple more crafters. I made more of the EFAB crafters and kind of set up auto crafting for them, and I'll show you how I've got that set up. I do want to move these downstairs and then do some more stuff here to maximize the ME controller, and almost already to the point where to do all the different crafting I want with this, I'm going to need to work on some getting more ME controller blocks, and so we'll have to do some wither fighting again. I did go ahead and break apart some of the wither skulls into the wither dust. So if you don't know, you can take the skull and it turns into the 3 of the wither dust, and then 4 dusts make the block. So I've got up to 10 blocks now, so that should be enough to completely make a wither safe spot in the nether for me, with a double layer bedrock we have. That way it won't get loose, and this time I've told myself, I promise, if it gets loose, I'll just deal with it. So if I have to rebuild my armor and go in there and fight it kind of old school vanilla way before you could reliably trap the wither in certain spots, then we would do it that way. So expect a wither fight, because I'll probably want to get that. So the 2 things I had in mind was to get into the peer-to-peer, which I think is here. This one. So the peer-to-peer stuff, we want to get the memory card and the P2P tunnel, and I'll show you how that works. And then I also wanted to do, I guess it's not on here, but set up the my drives, so you can get kind of like the setup I mentioned before, where it's the unlimited number of drives all behind a single channel. So that's what I'll do there. And yeah, so first off, let me talk about these crafters. So we had 1 before, and I made well, I guess 5 more. And so in here we've got this set up. So a gold ingot goes to the printed logic circuit, the silicone, pure certus, and the diamond, all making the parts for the printed processors. And then they all get their stuff here from storage 1. So if you've looked, each of these, oh, and I just deleted it. Storage 1. Yeah, I think that's the weird glitch I'm having with my mouse where it double clicks sometimes. That's what it was. It clicked in there. But anyways, so all the processors, you can kind of see in the tooltip, it says name storage 1. Well, the chest, I have storage 2, and then I have a piston on storage 1 again. And I'll tell you the main reason why you'd want different storages, because in a sense you could put them all hooked to the same item storage, and then, you know, so if I put gold ingots in here and diamonds both, then both of these are going to turn on. But the reason why the chest is on a different storage from the pistons is because if I put the piston ingredients in storage 2, since the piston ingredient has wood planks with it, then it's going to take those wood planks and turn them into a chest, because this one is looking for that. And so, you know, when I first put the piston one on, I had them both on the same one, and I'm like, well, let me test it, see if it works. And it wasn't working, and it was waiting for, you know, the crafting, and I come over it and it says missing ingredients. I'm like, what? So I look at it, and I only had like 2 planks, and then all the rest of the stuff for the pistons. And I'm like, oh, well, it stole some planks to make the chest, and so that's why you want them separate, so you can have, so this interface is doing the planks, and then this one is doing the pistons. So that's that system. I think some of the other stuff, I did reorder some things. I put the drawers back over there against the dirt wall. Yeah, it's just a maybe minor rewiring of things, because I had some of my 8-channel wires that had more than 8 channels on it, and so, you know, 1 or 2 of the interfaces or the components weren't, you know, had a missing channel. So I went through and fixed all that. You can see this dense cable is completely full. This one has 14. This one down here is completely full. This one here, I've only got 2 on. And then this whole side here, we've got the drives on, so it's not in use either. So right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 dense cables coming off. And so I'm really only using 4 sides. Now, there's 6 sides. One of them has to be the power input. Although I was thinking, actually, if we got an energy acceptor somewhere else on the network, then you could use that. But the recipe for an energy acceptor is an ME controller. So we're going to have to create another ME controller for that anyways. So for now, we have to have one side with the power input, and then the rest of it can be the dense cables. So we've got 5 faces available. We're using 4 of them. So I wanted to move this down. So let me sleep the night away, and then I'll get set up for the kind of the storage, you know, putting all the storage behind one channel, and I'll be back. Alright, so I have everything I need to do it except for the drives themselves. I'm just leaving them up there for now, just in case I need to pull something out real quick. But I'll show you what I did with the crafting units. So I made 2 more, and then I put an extra coprocessor. So the reason I have multiple coprocessors on here is that each one of these, or each coprocessor, can do another craft inside of it, or simultaneously with it. So don't know if you've ever looked inside your system here while it's crafting. You click on this and it'll show you the status. And so it has each different crafting that it needs to do kind of listed out for the job. And so if you have something here, if you only have the one, so each processor you can have, so right now there's 3 of those processors down there. So I could do 3 different craftings jobs at the same time. But in each crafting job, you can have multiple crafts. And so each different coprocessor is how many different crafts inside that job can go simultaneously. At least that's how I understand it. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong and I've misunderstood it. But That's why I put the multiple coprocessors on there. And then each of them have a 64K crafting storage on it. And so this channel with the 3 terminals up there, and then these 3 here, has 6 channels on this cable. So I'm going to hook the storage off of the end of this, but I don't necessarily want it over here in the corner. I kind of wanted it, somewhere else. So I'll probably dig out somewhere over here to do multiple stacks of storage, but for now I'll just stick it in the corner here. So we're going to want to bring the cable over, but for that we want to make sure we're not going to connect to any of the existing components here, just so that we can get over there without merging these lines. Alright, so over here we've got this part here. So in order for, and actually let me grab some blocks real quick, just to kind of pillar up with. Alright, so what we want to do is we have the storage bus and the interface. So we want to hook these two together, and it's easier if you have the flat version of the interface. And so over here, we're going to kind of splice into the system here. So for now, let's pull this out and put the storage bus here. Okay, and that's going to use another channel onto this cable there. And so if I go upstairs and look at that now, it's going to say 7 of 8 channels used on my smart cable here. This one down here. Yeah, 7 of 8. And so then I come back up here. And then if you put the interface right up against the storage bus, and then connect the cable there. So this interface is now a storage component behind this storage bus. So the only problem is now is this network here, is this little subnet, doesn't have any power to it. And so in order to get around that, we need to pull the power over. We don't want to connect it around, otherwise this interface is going to be on that network and we want to keep it separate. And so we get one of these quartz fibers and hook it together that way. And so now this quartz fiber is passing the power, but not the actual same network. And so over here you see device online, which means it has power. There's just nothing hooked to this little network here. So what we do is then we can come down here. So let's grab this drive here. It's got, a whole bunch of storage cells in it. Come down. I can then take the drive and attach it here, put all of its storage cells in. And then any of those items in those storage cells are now visible there. And so just as an example, what we're going to do, I'm going to pull these drives off as well. Actually, that's still connected there. Yeah, we've got extra drives now. So let me put some of this away. What else can I put away here? Okay, so I've got all of those. So if we look in here, we can kind of see the state of our system. We've got 2,000 of the items that are stored in the drawers. We've got, those are all kind of up on the top. But then down here, we can kind of see the numbers of items we have here. The silicone actually it's set to autocraft, and I'll show you what that is. So it's automatically making silicone for me. Actually, it's pulling it out of here. Yeah, that's all I have over here. I don't know if I showed that on camera, but I'll explain it in a minute. But so all of those items are stored on here. So if I then take these two drives and hook them up to here, and then put the drives back in, and that was just space clicking for putting those all in at once. Now we look, and we've got all the rest of our items back, and our silicone is back up 1452, whereas before it was only like a couple hundred. So all of our storage items are now all behind that one channel, and so we come here, we're still only using the 7 of 8 channels, and then down here we've got, instead of using 3 channels here, we're only using the 1 on that storage bus. And the way you can expand this out is, well, I guess I put the other things away. But if I were to put this storage bus here and another interface here and have the kind of same setup here with the putting the the cable around, putting the cable around with the quartz fiber there to hook it over, then I could have another stack of drives right here, right, and it would all still be behind that one channel. So right now I only have these 3 drives, but by the end of the video I'll have more crafted, and I can show you it actually working. Alright, so up here I said I'd mention this and how this is working. All I've done here is you put a redstone card here in, and so it enables the redstone mode. So I have this set to be active without signal. So this import bus is going to import when there's no redstone signal to it. But this right here, this level emitter, is outputting a signal currently. So if we look, none of these silicone, and that's how I've configured this so that only the silicone can be pulled out of the top. So that's why, yeah, so the silicone here is being imported through this, and so this level emitter is set for 1,000 silicone. So when I have 1,000 silicone, I'm going to emit the redstone signal, and then it's going to stop pulling these out. So that's kind of how it's like automatically making the silicone for me. So whenever I need it, it's going to pull them out, and such. And there's there's many different ways you can do similar things with this, and have it autocraft items for you to keep a certain number in your storage. I'll probably do that with the processors. So I'm always going to have a certain number of processors in the storage ready to go, and that will speed up the auto crafting things and such. So let me sleep the night and get the next thing I want to do set up. Okay, I got some stuff ready up there, but I wanted to show you how I have this set up down here now. So I made, well, I had the 3, and then in the system I had 2 more, and so I made 7 more. So I've got a stack of 6 drives here and a stack of 6 drives here. Each of them are full with the 4K ME storage cells. And so I've got more than enough storage to last quite a while now. So I don't really need to worry about that just yet. Now, if it gets to the point where what I have stored on the storage cells is like a lot of one single item, I can move those over to a drawer or a barrel or something, and then run all the cells through the IO port thing just to get them all kind of defragmented or whatever. But yeah, so this is all ready to go. here. So I did get another interface to hook to that, and then did the same thing with the quartz fiber, chaining it over. And then these, you can do as many as you want, like I said, and they all are sitting behind the one storage bus on your main network, and so that is the only channel on the main network in use. So I can come up here and show you that still 7 of 8 channels on this one here. So I did put a dense cable here, and this is going to be where I show you how the peer-to-peer stuff works. So first off, let's make a couple of these. We want 2, one for each end of the tunnel. And then we're going to want a memory card as well. And that should be all we need for that quest. Yep. So that's done. And there we go. So how this works, and I actually want this hooked up onto this, and I don't know what, it's like I'm floating here. Like if I'm on the interface and then I shift walking onto the cable, it's like I'm floating around. Like you just barely tap. And it's like you maintain some momentum. Whereas if I'm on the ground and I do that and I barely tap, you can see I stop right away. So I was up here shifting and I noticed that and I'm like, wait, why am I still floating? So, but yeah, I did want to replace this cable anchor with the peer-to-peer, but I'm going to have to break this cable in the process. So there's that. And then this, we will automate these. I'll probably build more of these, one for each of the things, and then do the redstone and the printed silicon to automatically export. And I'll show you, I have that set up over here with these. So these, they need empty cells inside the centrifuge, and then over here with the electrolyzer as well, there's certain recipes that will need it. So here with this recipe, you see it creates 1 chrome dust and 2 aluminum from the ruby dust. Now it also creates compressed air, I think, but I don't necessarily need that, as you know, I probably don't need that crafted, and I don't necessarily want to use up all my ruby dust every time I need air, and so I don't want it to think that it can craft air cells by crafting chrome instead. There's simpler ways of getting the air cells, or cheaper ways. And the same with this one here. I purposefully left the redstone off of the outputs on this pattern because I didn't want it to think it could craft redstone by using up all my glowstone. So I'd rather, you know, get the redstone from the ore and such, and so that's why that's there. But then these are export buses with the empty cells and a crafting card, so it's going to craft the items if it needs to. Ooh, sorry about that. I just had a sneeze attack, so I apologize. Where were we? We got these. Yeah, we got these set up. We got the quest complete. So over here, I want yeah, let me pop these off real quick because I think we just place this here. Whoop. And then the smart cable here. So it should register 3 channels now. Yep, 3 of 8. So we've got this interface, and the peer-to-peer. So, and these I've got kind of anchored off of here because they need power, just don't necessarily need channels to work. Device online unlinked. So if I shift right click on here, it's going to kind of grab the memory location of this, store it onto my memory card here, and so then wherever I put this, it's going to have any of these 32 channels available. But I do need to have, you know, somewhere on the network over here. So let me go downstairs and use the other last channel here as an example. So yeah, like we saw, we have one more channel available here. And so over here, let's set up, well, I mean, this is more or less for an example real quick. So if I come here and I go here, so and then shift right click here, so it's got its device online. It still says unlinked. Copy device, oh, because I did a shift. That was wrong. Over here, shift right click, so copy device configuration to memory card. Then over here I just right click it. Yeah, loaded. So it is the output side and it's got the channels behind it. So let's put our anchor here and our dents. And so we've got this available, but we can then pull, you know, the 32 channels off of it. I don't know exactly what to do with the channels right now to show you, but that peer-to-peer, even though 0 channels are currently going through it, it's using a channel here and a channel here. So I've got all 8 of these channels now in use and one here. And so in a sense, it's currently using 2 channels to transfer to 32. So yeah, each peer-to-peer tunnel, each side of the tunnel uses a channel. But I can transfer the 32 channels through those 2. So let me pull something, what's something we can get on the network real quick. Do we have any, we don't have any buses stored. Well, here, let's move some stuff. Let's move this. I don't know. Let me come up with something good to hook on the other side as a demonstration. Sorry, I should have done this before. Okay, I came up with an idea of what to put, and it might end up being somewhat more permanent, but I figured we could put the inscriber and the growth chamber back here, and then hook those up for auto crafting. So I extended out my dense cable here. Oh, I should probably, I'm gonna need more of these regular glass cables for the regular cables here. So grab the rest of that stack. Come down here. Alright, so let's get this set up and then kind of set this over kind of out in the middle here. Actually, I don't want it too close to that. So let's get it more over here. Let's push this back some more. Where's that torch? I want that torch on the wall here still. Okay, so this is currently hovering. So if you look, we've got the center, the top, and the bottom. That's kind of the way it's set up, and I think it actually is smart enough so that if I put, yeah, it can't be removed with automation. So if I put the things with the regular, I say vanilla, but with the regular AE2 inscribers, not these advanced ones from the AE2 stuff, the top has to be inserted from the top, and then the side, and then the bottom, and then this extracted from a side. But I think these advanced ones are a bit smarter about that. But either way, I'm still going to have these from the bottom and the top. So if I put the export bus here, and this here on the side, that I can make it so that this will export redstone, and this the printed silicone. We want this to have the crafting card in it, as well as the acceleration cards. Probably overkill just for keeping the redstone stack full, but. And then at this one, we want, hang on, there. And that's where the patterns will go for each of the actual processors or printed circuits or whatever. All right, so we just need to hook these up. Here. Okay, so these are now online, and then you can see it's using the 3 channels here. And then up here, I heard a zombie. I'm just going to have to probably contend with it. On this side here, we're using those same 3 channels, all going through the peer-to-peer. So now, yeah, I'll need to do the patterns, but before that, I wanted to get this here. And so, let's see. I wanted, because I don't know, because pulling the things out, we're going to need, and that's what these translocators are for, is to pull them out, but I want to pull them out and put them into the interface. So I kind of want this interface to be kind of, it's hung off down, that's not it. That's not an interface. This interface to be down here. And then it's, wait, let me think about this. All right, yeah, so this is how I wanted it. So I wanted this to be able to export into this interface and then this one into there using these, but they kind of had to be diagonally from each other, and so I was just trying to figure out how to get the growth chamber next to this one diagonally and this one next to there. Yeah, so this setup works where they're kind of 2 side by side, and then these are kind of diagonally offset from each other by the corners. Okay, so the recipes here, so let's go make the recipes, and then we'll show you how to set up, because I'll show you the problem with the way it is currently. But first we need the recipe. So over here, go processor. So we've got one for this. So we need a printed calculation circuit. Well, these are going to be auto outputted, and so these, yeah. So we just need the printed circuits. So printed. So one of these, and one of these. Processors makes one of these. One of these. And one of these. So this makes this. That's that one. This one makes this one. And this one makes that one. Okay. I come down here, put them in the interface, which, oh, I guess I could have done from up there, but so each of these should be good to go now. Now this should be full because the export bus is doing those. So now what we can do, let's order another, like 10 more of these calculation processors. So it has those, so it's gonna craft those. So all it's gonna do is do that, and they are working, which means we've got that set up properly. Okay, so the tricky part is actually the growth chamber. So you put the seeds in, and this is automatically going to pull them out. So in here, we need to put the filter to only pull out the actual completed items. So we need to come over here and grab one of each of the completed items. So we grab a pure nether. These can go in there now. A pure fluix and a pure certus. And we want a regular fluix as well. That's the wrong way to spell it. F-L-U. Okay. So we need the seeds. We're going to want one of those at least. Need 2, of course, for that. And then we don't have the recipe set up for that yet, so we just need the dust. Craft one of those. Craft one of those. So here's this and this. Now we need the sand. And I'll set these recipes up later. Oh, I didn't need that extra bit there. Oh, that's backwards. Okay, so in here we say one of these is one of these. Now actually we are going to change this, and I'll explain later, but I'm going to show you how easy it is to, one of the, like, you can make it complicated, and there's ways to make it easier. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but hopefully after I explain, I will. So here we need another quartz. Nope. Another quartz. A charge certus. And a redstone. Right or left click. That makes actually 2 of those. Okay, oh, we did want one of the pures, that's right. And pure. Okay. Okay, so here, these are the outputs, and so we want these to be filtered so that it'll only output those items rather than the seeds before they actually finish. So here we can put those in. Like I said, that we will want to change these, and so let me show you exactly why right now. Actually, let me put, no, hang on. Yeah, well, I can show you from here. So let's say we want, we'll do, say, a stack, right? We want another stack of the pure certus, and we're running out of sand. I need a way to auto craft the sand quickly and easily. We can in the grinder over there, but or I'll probably just hook up another export bus on the stonework factory to export sand out of another side or something. But for now, So let's do this. So ask for the stack. So it says, okay, I need to do these. It's gonna, craft these, craft the seeds, and then craft that. So now if we go down and look at our chamber, it is full of a bunch of 2 at a time. And that's because we're only crafting these 2 at a time. Or we're crafting them 1 at a time, but it's only putting them in 2 at a time because of the way the pattern is. So if I came down here and I said, actually I didn't want it that way. I wanted to say a stack of these was a stack of these. Yeah, I have to grind up the Certus into the dust. Which reminds me I should process some of these ores again. Okay, so get a stack of each. So if I say this pattern, I want to change to be a stack of seeds makes a stack of the pure Certus. I'm going to put these in there now, so we'll just use those. Now when I ask for a stack, it's going to do them all at once. And you see they'll come in all at once as well. So that's much quicker, and so it only had to wait for the chamber to do 1 batch. And then, the reason they came in 1 at a time fast is because that's how these go. If we put the glowstone on the sending one, they'll go quicker as well. So yeah, so I'll change that with the other patterns to be a stack at a time, and then with this to be 2 stacks of output is a stack of charged Certus and nether quartz and redstone and stuff. So. Yeah, I'll make those changes, but that is going to be all for today. So I hope you liked this episode. It was a bit more explaining, and actually I did promise a wither fight, didn't I? Sorry. We are out of time. We'll start with the wither fight next episode, so look forward to that. And I will be back. Leave a like if you like the episode. Comment and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.